How's it going, everybody? In this video, I wanted to walk all of you through a very quick, well, it won't be quick, it'll actually take some time. Uh, this video is going to help you understand the process that is needed to be taken to install vRealize Operations Manager. And if you're not familiar with vRops, what vRops Manager basically is what was the VMware vCenter Operations Manager from from ESXi 5.5. Well, they've upgraded that guy to vRealize Operations Manager in 6.0. So I happen to have a copy of it right here inside of this particular my folder. I'm going to import it into my ESXi host that is running all of my current implementation for my VCP6 implementation. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Open. I'm going to click on Next. And then it's going to go through and it's going to realize what it is and go ahead and move forward with it. And we're going to click on Next. And then we're going to accept the license agreement. Click Next. And then we're going to name it. We're going to say vRops. And that's all we're going to say. We're going to click on Next. We're going to say the configuration is small, so use this configuration for environments less than 2,000 VMs. This deployment will require 4 vCPUs and 16 gigs of memory for the vApp. That's actually what it actually is at the end of the day, is a vApp. So, and if you're not familiar with what a vApp basically is a template, or I'm sorry, not a template. A vApp is almost like a resource pool where you can take several virtual machines, put them into a virtual appliance, a virtual app, or a virtual application. And what it's going to be doing basically is housing 2 or more virtual machines that are needed to run the same application. So if you're familiar with the term multi-tiered application, so your database server, your web server, and maybe like a some other type of server that's needed in the background, that's where a vApp will come into play. So you take all of your servers that are necessary to run a particular application, you put them into the same vApp, they all get powered on at the same time. So we're going to click on Next, and we're going to choose the data store that is least used, and that is SAN3. We're going to click on, it's got less than a gig open, so it's got a 500 gigs open. We're going to click on Next, and we're going to say this is thin provisioned, and click on Next, and it's going to be in, we're going to choose the management domain so we can log into it. So it'll pull in a DHCP address. We're going to click on Next, and go ahead and finish. So what's actually happening here is it's in the process of deploying the disks. Now it's about 1.5 gigs or so in size, so it does take some time to download. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video while the install is in the process of being handled, and then once we are in good shape, I will bring you guys back in to move forward with the actual configuration that is needed to get everything started. And then we'll log into everything that we need to get it operational. It's really not that difficult. It's just a matter of getting what you need in play. So once this is uploaded inside the next 5 minutes or so, I will come back when this is all ready to go. Okay, so our deployment of vRops is complete. So we're going to click on Close. We're going to click on this guy, and he should have already gotten what was needed. He has the 4 vCPUs, and he's got the 16 gigs of RAM. And it's SUSE Linux Enterprise 11 64-bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and I'm going to right click on this guy. I'm going to click on Open Console, and that's going to open up the console. Now all you get is this black box here, but the nice thing about this is we're going to be able to click on the power button. As you can see down here in the front, it's powering on. So now here we go. We're going to go ahead and we're going to use the first option there, which is going to hit, and it's going to automatically choose that one. So now it's going to go ahead and it's going to start doing its boot. And right at this point in time, it's more of a waiting game than anything else. Right now it's at 22%, and going through all its specifics and stuff like that. So not a whole lot we're going to be able to do until it's completely done doing its install and its boot. So that's pretty much where you're at until everything is good. So I'm just walking you through all the steps that are needed in order to get this guy up operational. So once everything is good to go and he goes out and he gets an IP address, he did get an address 1.134, so we know when we pull up the the web manager for this guy will be able to plug in 134 and be able to pull up um, the web-based interface for it, and it's initializing storage. This does take a couple of minutes, so we're just going to wait until everything is copacetic and everything is good to go. So once we get a little bit further, we'll be in pretty good shape. So I'm going to pause the video until more interesting stuff starts, and we should be in pretty good shape here momentarily. I've installed this a couple of times previously and blown it away and then bring it back up, because after a while you get accustomed to how to install it. So I just figured I'd shoot this real quick video on how to actually get it operational, and then we'll be in pretty good shape. Total time for deployment is about 10 minutes or so, maybe a little bit less. So just hang on until it's there. I'm going to pause the video until we get a little more action going. So we are moving a little bit further along, and I'm trying to keep this up to date without having to have you guys watch the very, very boring actual step-by-step of it. But just wait here in case something does go south. I can pretty quickly point it out to you. Everything should work out just fine, but you never really know when you're installing this stuff. So, but we'll keep waiting until it's all situated and ready to go. Okay, so we're still doing the actual first initial boot up, and we're at the point we're doing first boot scripts, and things are going along quite well. We'll be at the point of full deployment here momentarily, and when we get a little further along where more stuff scrolls on by, I will bring you guys up to speed as we go along. So we are at the point where the email is actually getting configured, and we don't have anything really going on there. SMTP, or Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, is being configured because vRops does allow you the ability to send emails as an alert. So we will see that as we go along, and again, it's more or less one of those things where we are it does take some time. Like I said, it's about 10 minutes, and I'm pausing a lot as we go along. So I'll bring you guys back up to speed here once we get up, and there we have it. Amazing. So what we're going to do is so now we have 192.168.1.134. So we're going to go ahead and close that guy out. That doesn't actually turn the virtual machine off. That just closes the console. We could also click on console up here, and all of a sudden my vSphere client wants to not work. Okay, there we go. So it'll pull it up. So there we have it. So same thing would have been able to be done there. So I'm going to pull up our web browser, and I'll show you where that goes from there. So I'm going to plug in here https://192.168.1.134 and hit the enter key, and we should be able to talk to our manager here in a moment. So we're going to go ahead and request all that data. So now we are in that process. All right, so now we're at this page right here. This is the important step. So we're going, since this is a brand new implementation, we're going to click on New Installation, and we're going to click on New Installation. So now we do this, but we're going to follow this step by step by step. It's actually pretty simple once you get it all situated. We're going to go ahead and click on Next, so we're going to get started. The admin password, it can be anything arbitrary. I'm just going to use the password that I use when I'm setting up labs. So it's going to be capital P, the @SSW0RD, and the same thing again, P @SSW0RD. I'm going to click on Next. Now, if you have a certificate that you want to use here, you can. So you're going to need a PEM file and a PEM format and some other details, as you can see. So I'm going to use the default certificate, which is a self-signed certificate from the server. I'm going to go with that. If you need to, you can go ahead and use or install a certificate if you need to. I'm going to click on Next, and then it's going to ask me what the node name is. The node name is up to you on how you want to do that. I am going to, so this is the cluster master node name. I'm going to go ahead and click in here, and I'm going to say this guy here is going to be ESXi 6-1- vRops, and I'm going to click on, now it says enter the NTP servers that will be used to configure synchronized time. I'm going to type in 192.168.1.1 because that's my home router. He is that. Or I could choose to use, like, for instance, let us Google a, let's see here. We'll say NTP servers USA, because that's where I happen to be in, is the US. I'm going to literally just copy and paste this over as soon as it pulls up momentarily here. So I'm going to use this particular guy right here. This is Oklahoma State University. I'm going to add, and it's good. And I'm going to click on next, and then it's going to ask me some important information. We're ready to complete. So we're going to say finish. So it's administration and product. So we're going to go ahead and click on finish, and it's going to go into loading process. It does take a couple minutes for this to kick in. And then once we are there, we should be we'll have to actually turn it on. So it should go ahead and once it's at this point, it'll ask us to log in again. And then we will be able to do what we need to do from there. But we have to wait for it to configuring it and all that good stuff. So once we turn it on, it should auto redirect us back to the beginning here momentarily, but we'll have to be and there it goes. So this is the name of our box, and right now it's powered off, and there's nothing really to pull from because of the fact of where it's at. So we're going to go ahead and start vRealize Operations Manager, and basically it says before starting that, ensure that your cluster has an adequate number of nodes to manage your environment efficiently. So we're going to say yes, and it is waiting for analytics. There's really nothing for it to do, so it's going to go ahead and initialize, and once it's been initialized and we've started it, we'll be able to log into it, and everything should be pretty much good to go. So we are powered on, as it says right here, but we are in the process of going online, and then we should be redirected momentarily here. Like I said, total time from the time you download it to your ESXi host and then go from there should be about 15 minutes. Now, one of the things that I find interesting about this, and it's only interesting because of the fact that in my home and lab here, I only do most of my preparation is done through VMware Workstation, which allows me to segregate things out and stuff like that. You may not do it that way. You might have some other way of doing it. Right now, what it's doing is it's going out and it's trying to do a call out for analytics. There are no analytics for it to grab because there's no hosts that have been loaded into vCenter server. And this guy actually calls out to vCenter and tries to pull its information in. So this will continue to go on and on and on until everything is situated. But once it goes online and where everything is good to go, we should be in pretty good shape for everything to come on, and then we'll be able to go from there. As you can see, we are in the point of installing solutions, and like I said, it does take a couple of minutes, but we are in pretty good shape at this point. As soon as we are to the point where it says it'll go, I think fully installed, I think is what it says. It's been a little while since I've actually deployed it, but at that point it'll do that, and then it should, like I said, it should redirect us, but we'll see what happens here in just a moment. Up, and there it goes. So it's online now. And there we go. We got redirected like we were supposed to. So we're going to click on, the username is admin, and the password is p@ssw0rd. Log in, and we should be authenticating. This is the local database, and we're going to go ahead and log into the vRealize Operations Manager, and we're going to say this is a new environment. We're going to say next. We're going to accept the end user license agreement. Click next. We are going to use this as a product key, so we have 60 days to play with it. And then we're going to say next, and then we're going to say finish. So once it goes through this process, we will be in good shape, and it'll bring us to the fun stuff. Now, the cool thing about this product is once you're here, this gives you a very, very, very detailed, granular look at your environment. I'm going to be playing with this as we go through a lot of our VMware topic and stuff like that, because It's one thing to get to be able to manipulate things from the web client or the vSphere client and stuff like that. But once you get into once you have vRealize Operations Manager operational and things are working, this is going to be one place you're going to spend a lot of time. At least in my case, in my I do at least in my day-to-day job. And then for those of you that are looking for vSphere 5.5, we're going to be looking at the vCenter Operations Manager, which is the predecessor to vRealize Operations Manager. So that's where we're going to be at with that. So, and there's utilization wise, it doesn't take too much. I mean, I was sitting at 32, so now it's taking about 13 gigs, which isn't too bad from the grand scheme of things. The drawback to it is the more you run, the more utilization it's going to take. So, in my case, I'm in the process of studying for my VCAP 5, and so I'm doing that, and I've got my current topology, if you weren't familiar with it already. If we were to pull up here and go to home, I have all these virtual machines running in vSphere or in VMware Workstation 11, and so I've got two ESXi6 hosts, two ESXi 5.5 hosts, vCenter 5, vCenter 6. So I can go ahead and play with both, and I have OpenFiler available for both. So we're going to be seeing how that actually plays out as we go along, and going through all the details for that. So that's what I'm doing. So yeah, I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing. Oh, there was a question, am I going to be doing anything with administration on here? I will be showing you guys how to use this stuff as we go forward, but right now I just wanted to show you how to at least get it spun up and go from there. Till next time.